anything like the real Arabic of the Quran. If you really want to know what Allah is saying, ask the scholars of Arabic language and, of course, Islam, because they can give you depth, meaning. Now, I have something special for certain people that are watching tonight, and I know you're watching, so I'm going to say this is dedicated for you. How many of the converts who chose Islam have been told you cannot pray for your parents or your relatives or your friends? How many? Almost all of them. Yeah, Ryan raised his hand right away. Yeah, me too. And my wife too. Do you know what? I felt like this is something wrong. But guess what? There's a translation problem with one word in the Quran. And they chose to use a word that was used originally, oppose. That's the word that they chose. And it says, more or less the meaning in English, that you have to abandon, give up on everybody, cut them off if they oppose Allah and His Messenger. Do you know that? That's in the Quran, in the translation, but that's not what it says in Arabic. So then we found that Abraham alayhi salam is making dua for his father. But then in another verse, we saw that he's being told, no, you can't make dua for your father. And so this combination is what some people, shaitan, influences people. You know, the devil works in his own way to make them think, I can't even pray for my father who died. I can't pray for my mother who died. She was a good lady, but I don't think she really understood what was Islam. My own mother, she died, and I asked her before she died. I asked her real clear. I said, there is God. And of course, she's very active in the church. She said, of course. And I said, He's one. She said, yes, everybody knows that. And then she passed away. But I was still told, no, you can't pray for her because she didn't accept Islam. Guess what? Just a few days ago, I got another wrinkle in my brain. Did you know they told us this when I was a kid? Anytime you learn something, you get a wrinkle in your brain. Yeah, so I got a new wrinkle. Because I found out something. One of our shuyukh, a scholar, telling me about a word. What's the word? Had. No, not like had. You know, I used to have something had. No, it's had. This is the word. But I'm going to ask Sheikh to use the English he knows, because he knows some English, actually, better than me. Because by the way, I should tell you this. I have an excuse for my bad English. You know why? I'm not an English speaker. I'm from Texas. We speak Texan. Go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. There is ayah in Surah Al-Mujadala, last ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر يوادون من حاد الله ورسوله ولو كانوا آباءهم to the end of the ayah. The ayah means, because of time, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, no, you will not find the true believers in Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have mawadda, good relationships with those who are making muhaddah. They are yuhaddun Allah wa rasulah. If they are making muhaddah lillahi wa rasulih, you haven't to have good relationships with them. The problem here is what that mean of muhaddah. what that means of hadda or muhadda. Actually, the whole translations, which I have been read, are wrong. No one translation says the truth in this word, hadda. But if you go to Al-Mufassirin, especially the old one, Sheikh al-Tabari, Sheikh al-Qurtubi, Sheikh ibn Kathir, you will find the word hadda means four things. Four things.
Not a choice.
Yeah, not a choice, yes. Together. The first thing that you have to know the real Islam. And the second thing, if you know the real Islam and you neglect al-Islam, you neglect it after you know that.
Abandoned.
Yes, you are abandoning al-Islam. But number one, know that you know that. This is the reality. Number two, that you neglect it. Number three, that you attack it. You attack al-Islam. The number four, that you fight against al-Muslimin or against al-Islam. These four terms, if you make it, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, you will be muhad.
Enemy.
Yes, this is the word which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used. But any translation, if you open it, you will find opposed, including the translation of Sheikh Yusuf.
We're changing.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Say the respect the eye.
Yeah. لا تجد قوما يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر يوادون من حاد الله ورسوله ولو كانوا آباءهم أو إخوانهم أو أبناءهم أو عشيرتهم. Another thing that I want to talk about, in same surah, Surah Al-Mujadala, Allah also talked about al-muhaddin in different ayah. Same thing. إن الذين يحادون الله ورسوله كبتوا كما كبت الذين من قبلهم. That those who are making a muhadda, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is destroying them like those who came before them, and they did also muhadda lillahi wa rasul. The point, I'm going to leave the mic for Sheikh Yusuf, the point he wants to mention, that the word, the importance actually of Arabic language. You have to know the word exactly, the real meaning of this word before you have judgment of something. Before you have something. That many people, they are cutting the relationships. I'm talking about the converts. They are cutting the relationships with their parents because they believe in this ayah, but actually in the wrong way. They thought anyone opposes Allah wa Rasuluh, we haven't to have relationship. This is wrong. This is wrong. Because Rasulullah had two uncles, Abu Talib and Abu Lahab. Abu Talib was peaceful disbeliever, and Abu Lahab was fighter disbeliever. There is a big difference between this and that. Abu Talib, Rasulullah ﷺ was going to him, to his house, trying to convince him about Islam, have a good and like the real relationship with his ﷺ, his uncle, sallallahu alaihi Muhammad. This is our example. His uncle was kafir and was actually real kafir because his nephew is the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What you want more than that? Oh Abu Talib, what you want? Your nephew is the messenger, but he didn't believe. What Rasulullah did with him? Did he cut the relationship? No, until last minute. He went to his house. Oh Ammi, oh my uncle, just say it. Just say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Just say it. Just say it, أضمن لك الجنة. I will give guarantee that you will be in paradise. Just say it. And he didn't. But he still, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, had a relationship. After he died, he was talking nicely of him. Sallallahu alayhi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Another one, Abu Lahab, is a different story. He was fighting Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was fighting Islam. He was making a muhadda which we are talking about. Sheikh G, please just continue.
I like listening to him, don't you? Especially his Quran. Well, you can look at it like this. You get 2 for 1 tonight. Alhamdulillah. I enjoy learning everything about Islam. I don't have the idea that I'm smart and that I don't need to learn anything else. Every day I want to learn something new about this deen. And every day I want to be able to share this with the people I love. Do you love your mother? Of course you do. You love your father? Of course you do. You love your brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles? What kind of person doesn't love his relatives? Do you love your neighbors? Do you love the people you work with? But if you're cutting them off and saying, well, you're not Muslim, I can't talk to you. This is wrong, very wrong. And this is Shaitan working on us day and night to make it so Islam won't spread. But guess what? It's spreading anyway. Islam is spreading anyway. Last night we had one just walked up on the stage before we were even live on TV. He said, I want to join Islam. He already had a cap, one of these. And he already had a beard. He already knew how to fast. I asked him. We took him to IHOP last night. Oh, I'm not supposed to advertise for anybody. Oops. Anyway, we took him to that place that I like to go. And we were sitting there with him all night. And then I asked him, why? He said he was been watching our videos so many weeks, day and night. Somebody introduced him to our videos. He said, and then I was watching one this morning. And then my friend called me and said, Yusuf Estes is going to be here tonight. I said, what? What? Oh my God. And he came. And the first thing I asked, is like on last year, is if we got any Muslims here, raise your hand. Any Muslims? Raise your hand. Or you don't want to be a Muslim anymore? What? Come on. All right. Do we have any non-Muslims here? Any non-Muslim? All right. And that is exactly what I did. And I saw 2 people raise their hand. Okay. And one, he had regular American clothes on, but the other one, he had that cap, and he had a beard. The other guy didn't have a beard. I said, okay, I figured out which one. They were sitting together, and they both put their hand up, and they were both pointing at each other, you know, like I'm with him, and he's, So, when he stood up, I said, well, you know, and I said, well, but how come the guy who's the Muslim stood up? No, he's not the Muslim yet. He wants to be. Look how much he wants to be. I said, have you ever made shahada? He said, no. I said, come on up. And he did. How easy was that? Because I don't guide people. Many people have asked me, because they've seen a whole crowd of people stand up. We had 30,000 people one time stand up and do shahada. But it wasn't me who guided the people. Allah said in the Quran, you don't guide the one you love, but Allah is the one who is guiding whoever He wills to this straight path. So I just ask Allah, let me be there when somebody does it. That's all. That's my, if you want to call it a trick, that's my little trick. I ask Allah, let me be there and see somebody. And I had done that in the Qiyam the night before, and I said, let me see somebody, and it happened just like that. So whatever you want, get up in the night and ask for it. That's another subject, but be sure to know that Allah, He knows everything, and He is always ready to accept from anybody, because He created all of the human beings. And anybody could be the worst person today, the biggest enemy to Islam, but if he changes and said, no, I want to be a Muslim, I want to serve Almighty God. As soon as he said that, maybe he's better than us. Maybe we don't forgive him, but Allah does. Oops. Alhamdulillah. I just wanted to emphasize that tonight. No, we have some youth, we have some young people with us tonight. Does anybody have children that are under, like, say, 18 or younger? Anybody has children 18 or younger? Okay, now I'm going to ask this to the same people. I'm just asking you, now, how many of you that you wish that your children were here right now, but they're not? Oops. Yeah, too many hands went up on that. I wish they were here too, because our youth are the future of Islam. Us old guys, we're not going to be here that much longer. But the youth, they're the ones who are going to take this over and keep going with it. What are we doing for them? Now, if you say, well, I bought them a new phone, that's nice. And I bought them a car, oh, that's nice. Or a bicycle, or a, motorized scooter or something. That's nice. I put them in school, oh, I paid for them to go to dentist school or medical school, or, yeah, okay, that's nice, that's nice. But what about Islam? What have you done to really help them? What will help your child? Because they are watching you from the time they're born. Ask your wives, I'm serious. They are watching, these children are watching their mother's eyes from the time they're holding them. And they're watching always. They're watching everything you do. So if you smoke, don't smoke, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to do the same thing. They're going to smoke and say, don't smoke. That's what they're going to do. Because actions really do speak louder than the words. You see people doing something, and that's what you will do. If you are rough on your family, if you're punishing them, you're hitting your wife and all that, and you think your children are not going to do that, you're wrong. They will do it even worse. And now I want to change the direction a little bit to the little boys. And there's a little boy in all of us, I guess. The guys, yeah. You ask me for advice. Many times they will come to me and ask me, Sheikh, give me nasiha, advice. My advice to myself has always been the same, and to you is the same. Simple advice. But I ask you a question first. When you get married, and you have a family, and you have children, and you get older, how do you want your children to treat you? Dignity, honor, respect, take care of me. When I get really old, move me around, let me see some green things in the day, and let me have my tea at night. Yeah, that's what I would like my children to take care of me. The secret, how you treat your parents, Allah can give you children to treat you the same way, or even better, or even worse. How do you treat your parents? Now, does Allah tell us about treating the parents in the Quran?
وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما فلا تقل لهما واخفض لهما جناح الذل من الرحمة وقل رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا.
When you see the verses translated, it doesn't give you the full impact. But when you hear the verses and you have an essence of the idea, you feel it. You really feel it. That when they grow old and they're infirm, and all Allah is asking you, just give them that respect. And even if they fight you, because they're old, they don't know what they're doing anymore. They're hitting at you. My father did that. One time he punched me like this. And I was going to turn and get mad. But when I turned, I realized it was just like he was hitting me like this. Because he was so weak. You know, it's just like tapping me. But he was but he forgot about it right away. So I just smiled. I said, Dad, I love you. And right away his face would change. And he said, I love you. So now I'm getting older. Yeah. And my daughters and my granddaughters, I even have great-granddaughters, they're looking at me like the same way. And never I have a conversation with my girls on the phone, except they say, Dad, I love you. Shall I tell you one little story? What happened? When my father was still alive, he was staying with us. He didn't really know where he was. And I would walk into the room and he'd say, oh, Sonny, my Sonny boy came to see me. It was my house. And I would walk through the room and I would stop and go over and talk to him and, oh, thank you for coming to see me. I go in the kitchen, I come back out. Oh, my son came to see me again. Imagine. Because when a person gets old, their mind really is gone a lot. Some things. So, one night, my father is sitting in his favorite chair. We got him a chair that he liked to rock in and everything. And I was working at my computer, like I always do. And I hear in the kitchen, by my computer, I hear in the kitchen, my two daughters, they're arguing. It's your turn to wash the dishes. No, it's your turn. I did them last night. Yeah, you did them last night because you 2 nights in a row you didn't do it, so it's still your turn. No, yes, no, yes. And I started to get up. And I got out of my chair. And I was walking over to them, and I'm going to throw the doors open, but I already know what's going to happen. As soon as I open the doors, they're going to go, hi, Daddy. And I said, what's the problem? Nothing. I already know that's what's going to happen because it's happened so many times. And I look over at my father and he's sitting there rocking. And I don't know why. I just walked over to him. This is not our custom. Okay, in Texas we don't do that. But I walked over to my father and I kissed him right on the forehead. I found out later this is something that a lot of Muslims do that. They kiss on the forehead. And I kissed my father on the forehead and I said, Dad, I love you. And he looked at me and he said, whoa, I love you too. And he kept rocking. And I went back and sat down at my computer. It got quiet in the kitchen. And then one of my daughters came out. This really happened. She came out and she walked straight over to my computer and me. And I looked up at her and she said, Dad. And she kissed me in that same spot. She said, I love you. And she went down to her room. And I started, I'm from Texas, I don't cry. But some leakage was coming out of my eyes. And then, after the dishes were done, the other one none of them saw me do that. Nor did the other one see what her sister did. But she walked straight over to me, kissed me in the exact same spot, and said the same words, "I love you." And when that happened, I remembered the verse. And I said, oh, the same verse Sheikh recited. And I thought, how much we miss in life just because we don't take time to say, "I love you." And forgive everybody. Do you know the famous hadith about the one that the Prophet ﷺ is saying, the next one who walks through the gate or the door is going to be somebody from Jannah? And they said, who is this guy?
الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء
Another time, he said the same
وهو السميع العليم.
It was the same guy.
بسم الله.
The next one to walk through the door, it's the same guy again. And they found out later, what was it, I'm shortening the hadith, what was it that he had that they didn't do? He said, I don't know, you guys are better than me. Except that at night, before I go to sleep, I forgive everybody. I forgive everybody. How important is it for me to forgive? Not for your benefit, for my own benefit. Because if I fall asleep with something eating at me, it's eating me in my dreams and eating at me when I wake up, just forgive everybody. It's not hard. You want Allah to forgive you, and you can't forgive people? Let's forgive everybody, no matter who, no matter what. Before you fall asleep, for your own benefit, forgive everybody. And you'll be surprised, huh?
He wasn't a big Sahabi, and one from the big Sahaba went to his house 3 nights to see what he's doing. And he found there's nothing he's doing. He just prayed to rak'ah or something, and he just sleeps. Then he asked him more after he finished 3 nights with him, what you are doing. That Rasulullah told us, you are from the people of Jannah. Then I spent 3 nights with you. I didn't find anything extra that you're doing there. Then he said that I'm not going to sleep until I remove every single hiqat and ghillah and hasad from my heart.
Yeah, we basically said the same thing, only give you the whole hadith. Everybody know the hadith? Yeah. Probably better than us. Anyway, the most important part is forgive, forgive, forgive. The other thing that I want to share with you is about thanking people. You know, we only thank Allah, right? No, that's not Islam. We do thank Allah. Allah first, but we also thank the people. What did the Prophet ﷺ tell us? Whoever doesn't thank the people doesn't thank Allah. Be sure we say, and do you know, how many from Pakistan or India in this room? Huh? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Islam spread beautifully. Now, how many of you heard somebody say, Jazakallah? How many of you said, Jazakallah? Yeah? Don't ever say it to me, okay? Jaza means to increase you. And Allah, of course, you're saying Allah increase you. And I lost a lot of weight, and I don't want to increase again. So I need you to say, Jazakallahu khair. Jazakallahu khair. Yeah, Allah increase you in goodness. Don't just say, that's why I gained so much weight. It's all your fault. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. MashaAllah. And I think that this is a good chance also to mention the importance of the Quran. We have the Sheikh with us tonight who can recite the entire Quran from memory since he was 7 years old. 7 years old. And that's at least 5 years ago or something. At least. Alhamdulillah. Now, there is something very important about the Quran. Yes, it can be memorized relatively easily, not like any other book. Also, there is no corruption in the book. And it's exactly the book that it was 1,400 years ago. Now, if you want to play a game, kids like to play this game. We call it telephone. We used to call it telephone. I don't know what they call it now. But you have like 10 friends, or 8 or whatever. But you make up a little story, a short story, and you tell it to the first one in his ear. And you ask him, whisper to the next one. And then he whispered to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then you ask the last one, what's the story? And it's so funny because it's not the same. And I did it on stage one time because somebody stood up in a live, we had 4 television channels broadcasting, including Guided TV. Okay? And we had a live audience. We were in United Arab Emirates. And I said, anybody here is not a Muslim? And one guy in the front put his hand up, and I said, okay, stand up. And I said, what is your name? He said, Muhammad. I said, what? Wait a minute. And I said, where are you from? He said, Saudi Arabia. I said, Saudi Arabia? Are your parents are Muslim? He said, yup. I said, okay. So, yeah, come on up here on the stage. The first thing I said was, will you help me prove a point? Because we're broadcasting this all around the world right now. And you just help me prove a point. Because you're with your friends, right? He said, yeah. And a bunch of Muslim guys were with him. They're buddies. I said, oh, you would help me prove a point. Because these are your friends, right? Yeah. They're all Muslim? Yeah. But you're not. Yeah, I left Islam. I said, okay. You just proved a point. That we don't cut off everybody's head for being a murtad. We don't. Your friends didn't cut your head off yet. They started laughing. They were like, yeah, of course not. I said, yeah, but there's a lot of people out here in the world that think that. So come on up on the stage. And I got him up on the stage, and I said, pick out